You're listening to Kat Feeney on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland.
Phil McGann, financial planner, director of Claritude Financial Planning. You've got children.
I've got 4 children, yes I do.
Do you charge them rent?
I don't, they're not old enough yet.
Oh, when is old enough?
No, when they get a little bit older potentially, when children have got their own means, and obviously they don't at the present time.
I see. Now, why would you want to charge your children rent for living at home?
Look, it's one of those things, it's more of a signpost than anything else. It's not a case of trying to sort of generate income from them. It's trying to give your children a benchmark, something that will actually, a bit of forced savings and discipline, that sort of idea. That's what I'm thinking about there. Not so much teenagers or university students or people of no means, but if you've got adult children who are coming back to you in their late 20s, early 30s, with a partner and kids in tow, and can you sort of put us up for a bit? Fine, but there's got to be some sort of quid pro quo potentially, that you put a dollar figure on that to say, well, this is good for everyone, because an older couple in a house has still got expenses, and you're contributing as a child coming back, even though you're an adult child with some means to you as well. So again, it's not there to try and generate income for the person, but it's covering costs. And you may even sort of accumulate all those funds and give it back to them later on, maybe.
So how might you calculate an appropriate amount to charge then?
I would think, it's not a percentage or anything like that. I think you'd come up with a round number. You'd sit down and discuss with them, because as part of the scenario, you're talking about what are the obligations here? How long do you think this will go on for? What are your thoughts about how the house runs and what the facilities are and things of that nature? You're contributing to it. If you're a younger adult, so to speak, who is coming back and they've got a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever, are they coming over and staying and things like that? Those sorts of discussions are part and parcel of this. And you could say, well, look, I think $100 a week would be good. Maybe more, maybe less, something of that nature. It gives them the idea of where you both sit. You're not coming back to the family house and living the same as you did when you were 17.
You're not freeloading, child.
Or not even so much, your expectation that mum and dad are doing the washing and the cleaning and all the rest of it for you as they did when you were 17. You're 28 now. What are you doing?
Because we're trying to teach financial literacy here, aren't we?
We are.
And we're trying to improve. You want to improve, ideally, your own financial position and the financial position that your children are in.
More so the children, because you're really trying to give them an idea and trying to sort of help them on their journey.
Yeah, but you don't want to set yourself backwards is what I'm saying. And I hear what you're saying about not making money off the kids, but I also hear what you're saying about not letting them suck you dry.
Correct. And you don't want them being there and a long time. Or if you've still got a mortgage on your home and they're coming back, well, they should help some dollars, maybe more than that nominal amount, to actually help you make the mortgage repayments, because you're trying to help them and set them up into their property down the track if they've got a plan. And so this is sort of putting that plan in place and say, what are you doing over the next year or 2 or 3? Are you just coming home to save some money for your trip to Europe or something? That's one thing. But if you're saving for a house, how are you doing it? What are we trying to achieve here? What are your spending habits? That sort of thing. You're trying to sort of give them a bit of a signpost, really. And I think that's a reasonable thing to consider. A lot of people would disagree with that, but there's a term out there for it in the literature called economic outpatient care, where you, as an older couple, maybe of means, are doling out money to your younger children to actually help them into the housing market, or help them with school fees, or help them with the lifestyle that you think they should have, but they haven't the means to have that. What happens when the income stops and your income is not available to do that? You're really setting them up to fail almost. That sort of idea. So it's not a good thing. This way, if you're charging them some rent, it puts some signposts. That's what I'm getting at.
5 to 3, you're on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. My name's Kat, and Phil McGann is with you. We're talking about, helping your children, even as they move into adulthood, help themselves financially. This is ultimately what you're talking about here, Phil.
It is help themselves.
So let's just run with this idea that they're moving back in because they need to save money for a deposit for a house. We're hearing how hard that is.
It is very difficult
at the moment. So in addition to setting healthy boundaries around running of a household that you're now sharing.
That's what everyone thinks. Yes. You're adults now, not children and adult. Yep.
How do you, what do you do now today? Is it term deposits? Is it setting aside a certain amount of their income how do you actually help them beyond
You could
providing
actually,
a roof over their heads.
You're basically sitting down with an adult conversation saying, well, what is your income at the present time? What are you trying to save towards? How are we going to map that out for you? I think, there's a nominal amount to help with the house expenses here, so let's pay that. And the rest, let's save X amount of your percentage of your income. And we'll get to that goal you've got in 12 months or 18 months or 2 years, and we all know where we're up to then. And what you may well do at the end of that time then is the money they've paid you, you give that back to them. Now, you don't tell them that up front, I wouldn't have thought, but it's the sort of thing that gives them maybe a bonus at the end, so to speak.
Dorothy at Rockhampton, did you tell your kids what you were planning to do with the rent you charged them?
No, I didn't. And they were most grateful when I gave it back to them towards their wedding, though, yes.
Wonderful. So that was a good thing to do, a good emotional thing to do, but financially it worked pretty well.
Yes.
What did you actually charge them?
I can't remember. I mean, I'm 88 now and they're
long time
up
ago.
into their 50s, but I can't remember. But I thought, I just put it away. And then, as I say, when they got married, I gave it back to them towards their wedding, and they appreciated that very much.
And that's the big thing, the appreciation at the end, that there's something that you're not expecting. I think that's good.
Good on you, Dorothy. Thank you. Dorothy's at Rockhampton, a parent who ran with your idea, Phil, of charging a better rent, nominal amount, to the adult kids when they move back home to help them get a foot up.
Yes, correct.
Which might seem counterintuitive. Like, you might think the best thing you could do is not charge them a cent, so that they could quick, smart, save up that money and then get out into wherever they're going to live.
But then again, the nominal amount means that that's not a big it's not a big commitment as well. So, look, I think there's both sides, and it just gives, again, that signpost and that sort of boundary, and they can see where they're at, and it helps you have that other discussions about what time are you coming home all the time, and who are you going to have over, and are you going to help with the washing, clean, all that sort of thing. That, I think, is a healthy relationship for adults living together, not children and adults, because it's a different relationship than when they lived at home.
Definitely worthwhile having the conversation at the very least. Phil McGann, thank you for having the chat with us.
No dramas. Thanks, Kat.
This afternoon on ABC Radio Brisbane and Queensland. Phil McGann with you, Director of Claritude Financial Planning.